think the key was like we stay very humble about the team we are. We all know how good and how much talent we have in that clubhouse, but we never take it for granted. We also knew that we were playing the Dodgers, and they are, one of the best teams, most consistent teams in the league, and they were playing extremely good in playoff. So we went like that, and we try to make like every pitch count, every swing count, and I think we did the small things in baseball, everything you got to do, and of course, this man next to me, he did the move that he had to do. So I think we all were in the same page, and that's what it gave us the victory tonight.
And first row, Ron? AJ, what are the things you've learned since you first started as manager 8 years ago that you think you used over the last month, this series, this game, to make this team the team it was to get over the top?
Yeah, I think the first thing that comes to mind is this game's about players. The players are what makes it all go around. And as their manager, my job is to get the most out of them. My job is to push them when they need to be pushed, to hug them when they need to be hugged, to believe in them always, and set a culture that where they'll believe in themselves and they'll prioritize winning. Obviously, this sport is, there's an individual side to it, there's a team side to it, and as you grow together as a group and you have a common belief system and you're supported, it's amazing what you can do. But the players are really what makes the sport go. And the more you can get out of them, the more you can get them to trust you, to believe in you as a leader, the better you'll be as a manager. And that, I'm not sure you know that right out of the chute when you first get one of these jobs. At least for me, as a young guy, I didn't appreciate what it took to put your heart and soul into the players and let them see you for who you are, and in return ask them to be themselves.
Jose, what has he taught you that others in baseball haven't?
I think he gave us a lot of confidence. He's a guy that let you go like that and do your thing. But he also says something when he thinks he needs to do it, and that's what it's really fun to play behind a guy like this. Like, okay, he trusts me. But if I do something that, wrong or something, he's going to get out there and let me know. But he let us know what we have to do in the best way he could do it, never lie. He never disrespect his player. He was very, polite and the advices he gives you is in the best way. So I really appreciate. He knows I'm not very emotional, and I don't like to speak a lot. You can ask him, but I really have to give him a lot of credit because he really deserves it.
On the left center aisle.
Yeah, this question's for both of you. What was the plan to oppose Yu Darvish, and talk about the success in carrying that plan out?
There you go. When you're going to face a high-end pitcher, and even though we beat him up a little bit twice this series, is not going to take away how good he is. We've seen him a lot in Texas. And obviously he's a difficult pitcher, and you have to pick a pitch. You have to find an area of the zone that you feel comfortable with and stay in the strike zone the most you can. If he gets you to chase, it's advantage Darvish. If he gets you to hit his off-speed pitches, it's advantage Darvish. So you have to be very disciplined, and we did that 2 games in a row where we got hittable pitches and did damage. But in the first game, there was a lot of extra base hits, and we drove in some runs. Today, George delivered the big blow at the end, but how we scored our first couple runs of just manufacturing runs against a top-end pitcher like that, our plan was to make it tough on him and to give good, tough at-bats because we didn't know how long he was going to be in. This is the most creative team in baseball and how they use their pitching. So we said before the game, we stood behind second base, you might only get one at-bat against Darvish. Now, I didn't know that was going to be because we scored a lot of runs. I thought it was just going to be how creative they were going to get. But the plan of attack, like always, is get a good pitch to hit.
Right center aisle there.
AJ, it was just over 2 months ago. I was with you guys in St. Pete, where you had been relocated, and there was, at the time, a lot of anxiety because everybody wanted to get home so bad, and you didn't know then when you would get back. Then you went back that weekend. And now I imagine everybody's anxious to get back to Houston for a whole different reason. Can you just talk about the amazing journey from there?
It started before Tampa. It started in Anaheim when the storm hit. And I'll tell a quick story about Jose, who was separated from his family, and with a lot of guys, and a lot of our families. Some were with us, some weren't. And Jose came up to me and asked me, how long he'd have to play like this with his family back in Houston, getting surrounded by water, they were safe, but yet scared. And that's not easy to ask your players. Now